Good morning, everyone. I am your host, Olivia Cohen, coming in live from the Dörfner Judaica Museum here at the Hebrew Home. And this is Good Morning Hebrew Home. Today is Monday, August 10th, and the time is 10:31 a.m. Very exciting. If you are watching this up on the floors upstairs, you will notice that the snowy picture is gone. We are officially in HD. So this is our first day in HD. Anybody watching later today on YouTube, you will not notice a difference. But we just upgraded our systems to HD television. So now all of our broadcasted programs will be in this beautiful crystal clear picture. So that's very exciting for everybody. You'll get to see art history clearer. You'll get to see Larry, Claire, both Larrys, Peter, Kate, everybody who does broadcast, Deborah. You'll get to see everybody so much more clear, and we're super happy and excited about that. Thank you, David Finkelstein, for all this long process of getting us our HD and really advocating for our residents to see in the best picture possible. So super excited for that. We have a great show planned for you today, so let's get into the news. Let's take a look at the weather in our neck of the woods. Today will be mostly sunny skies. Temperatures will be high 92 degrees. Let's move to this day in history, August 10th. 1948, ABC enters network TV, and ABC stands for American Broadcasting Company. I know many of you guys watch Channel 7 often. August 10th, 1950, Sunset Boulevard, which is American film noir directed by Billy Wilder and starring William Holden and Gloria Swanson, premieres at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. And one of the best lines from that was, "I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille." So what a great movie. 1984, the U.S. beats Spain 96-65 to win the men's basketball gold medal at the Los Angeles Olympics. And the future Dream Team members were Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, and Chris Mullin. I'm going to go backwards a little bit in time because I'm out of whack. In 1960, August 10th, Los Angeles premiere of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, starring Anthony Perkins and Janet Leigh. Anybody remember those movies? Sunset Boulevard or Psycho? Really, really great movies. Spooky. And then in 1990, August 10th, the Magellan spacecraft begins its orbit of the planet Venus after a 15-month journey from Earth. The spacecraft spent the next 4 years mapping Venus, producing a detailed map of 99% of the planet. So how cool is that? 1993, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was sworn in at a U.S. Supreme Court Justice. As U.S. Supreme Court Justice. Also, some national unheard of holidays today. It's National S'mores Day, so anybody who enjoys s'mores, this is your day. It's also World Lion Day. It's a day to appreciate all the lions. Another thing of appreciation today is skyscraper appreciation. So I'm sure a lot of New Yorkers can really take some time in Manhattan, especially, to appreciate some skyscrapers. And anybody who ever listened to Duran Duran, it's a Duran Duran Appreciation Day. So make sure you listen to a Duran Duran song. Famous birthday for today, Herbert Hoover, born August 10th, 1874 in West Branch, Iowa. He was the 31st President of the United States, serving from 1929 to 1933. Before he was the president, he served as a director of the U.S. Food Administration, the FDA, from 1917 to 1918, and then later was the Secretary of Commerce from 1921 to 1928. The Great Depression began during his administration, and he was criticized for his lack of response during the crisis, refusing to provide direct government intervention and relief services. But his birthday, August 10th. Resident birthdays. Let's say a happy birthday to Sal M and Norma S. Happy birthday. And staff birthdays, Larry B. from Therapeutic Arts and Enrichment Programs. You can see him all on Wednesdays. He has a new time slot for his concerts. Wednesdays at 2:30, you'll see Larry back. And also we have Lucia from Housekeeping. So happy birthday to everyone. I'm going to actually invite my next guest out to read the menu for us. Thanks for mentioning that, Kat. So in a moment, we have Jen Flood, our Director of Clinical Nutrition, joining us today. And I thought it'd be really great for you to read the menu today.
Wonderful.
Would you want to read from
Something I'm
there
very
or
comfortable
paper?
with. No, sure, I'll read it. Today on the menu, we have chicken coq au vin, fresh mashed potatoes. We have grapes for dessert, and the soup is roasted carrot and fennel. The alternates include broiled fish with sauteed, dinner is broiled fish with sauteed vegetable, white rice, and the dessert is vanilla pudding.
Yay, that was perfect.
So enjoy.
I wanted to bring you out here to do that since you have us with us today. We're so happy to have you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
And we'll share some updates with the residents. But I wanted to just start off with introducing yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do here as the Director of Clinical Nutrition.
So, as the Director of Nutrition, I'm responsible for the overall nutritional care of the residents, which is quite a challenge some days, but it does include a lot of different things like monitoring their intake, their weights, their labs, making sure that we plan healthy menus that residents enjoy, and really fine-tuning the menus for those residents that may have specific nutritional needs. So we get into some really specifics with residents who can't tolerate a lot of different things. So it's a very rewarding position, and it's nice working individually with residents as well.
Right, because there's so many different things that people like, and finding the right match of what people can tolerate and also what they like, and mixing all of that together. Each person sounds like it's really individualized.
It is. It's really individualized. And then you have some people that have intolerances to certain foods, and some people as they get older, they may be challenged with chewing problems or swallowing problems. So there's a lot that goes into each individual care plan depending on, the resident's specific needs.
So you and your team really need to meet with each person one-on-one and find out what is the right combination that's going to work for this person.
Right. Yeah. It's really important, especially upon admission, is getting as much history as we can from them and their families. But then it's really important during their stay here to just really monitor them, watch them at meals, get to learn a lot about their food patterns, because watching them in the dining room will really tell you a lot about what meals they like, what they don't like, if they're having any issues that they're not even aware of having that we might notice. So it's a lot of, hands-on working with them, and then a lot of monitoring on the computer of labs and data and weights and things like that.
So it's not uncommon for residents to see you and your team in the dining room during certain meal times, just to get an idea of how people are tolerating their meals and things like that.
Exactly, exactly.
So you must work with so many different departments here, because I'm sure you have to work with speech, you have to work with James. I know you work with James very closely.
Right.
And I know for us in our department with Therapeutic Arts and Enrichment Programs, whenever we plan an event that involves food, we're meeting with you and James to find what is the right food that we should be offering for the residents. And then also James is kind of the creative, planning, making that part happen. So it does take a big team to really make sure food is really important.
It's so important, and you really do want to be able to offer residents things outside of the meals, because at home that's what they would be doing. They're going to parties, they're having special events, so you really want them to enjoy as much as possible, but of course the most important is their safety. So finding what you can give them and also make sure that they're safe during it. So it's really important.
Yeah, that's like finding that right balance of what would be a really great thing for a barbecue or something like that.
Right.
And also what is safe enough for everyone to tolerate.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So I want to talk a little bit about you and kind of what led you on your journey into your career path that you're currently on now and where you landed.
So I think probably heading down the wrong path is what led me to the right path. So I graduated with a bachelor's degree from Fordham in economics, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so spent a year working for an accounting firm, Pete Marwick. So I was in the corporate world for a year after my undergraduate degree, and boy, that was a real eye-opener. I realized very quickly that the corporate world was not for me. I really, needed to just be out, interacting with people more. I always had such a passion for eating right and exercising, and from a personal perspective, my dad always had cardiovascular disease, so I was always trying to get my family to eat healthier at home. So it sort of became a personal passion, which then after working for a year, I decided, you know what, I'm going to pursue my real passion. So I went back, finished all my undergraduate prerequisites again for a second time. And then I went on to get my master's degree from New York Medical College in nutrition. And I never looked back. So I've been here 25 years.
I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been here 25 years. I started out as a staff dietitian, and shortly thereafter I became, at the time, the supervising dietitian, and now I'm the director. So it's been an incredible journey, and it's just been so many wonderful experiences over the 25 years here. There's just too many to list. It's been incredible.
Was this your first experience, right, after your first job kind of experience of like working as a clinical, like a dietitian?
It was. In fact, when I did my internship, I was like, I'm going to try a nursing home. I'm not really sure if I want to do hospital, nursing home. I really felt drawn to like renal nutrition. And I thought, all right, let me get some experience. I'm young, I'll start somewhere. And I just loved being here. With team members and really getting to know the residents. I mean, it was such a wonderful experience. It was so different from the hospital where, you popped in, you met somebody, you counseled them, and then they were gone. And you're like, oh, I hope they're doing well. Here, you could really follow them through. And a lot of times you really just got to know them on a personal level too. So it wasn't just talking about nutrition. You got to hear about their grandchildren, and you met their family, and it just became such a rewarding experience that there was so much more to it than nutrition that never felt the desire to leave. So
I think the most rewarding part, it sounds like what you're saying too, is that it's the relationship. We all have our hats that we wear here, but what really brings us to working here is that relationship that comes first no matter what.
Right.
That really makes it.
It's true. And sometimes also doing things that are sort of outside of your job description, because it just adds sort of that variety to your day where it's not just sitting and crunching or the computer or nutrition. It's, oh, wow, I got to take them out for a nature walk today, and I got to do that with them and talk to them. Or we get to do a barbecue today and have fun with residents, or whatever it is. But there's always sort of a digression, something fun to do in addition to your workflow, which really makes it interesting every day. Every day is so different.
Right.
So it's fun.
And speaking of every day being so different, I think everyone has kind of experienced something so different right during this time with COVID. How has COVID impacted the way that you do things here at the home?
Yeah, so like everybody else, there's been some challenges. I mean, the most important thing is really keeping the residents safe. So we had to move towards really not having communal dining and separating the residents, which makes it a little bit more challenging to monitor them at meals and watch them. But really keeping them distant and safe has been one of the biggest challenges during the pandemic. And I think, getting back to that will be really important for the resident, because like you said, meals are so important, and the social scene. So just really being around the residents during meals, because they are separated from their friends, and trying to compensate a little bit for what they're losing out on in the dining rooms and stuff like that adds a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, used as much space as possible. We've tried, we were looking for tables, I remember,
Right.
trying to gather up as many tables so that we really could space everybody out, and we've taken up like the whole floor,
Right,
just
yeah,
to make
using
sure that everyone's safe.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that, like you're saying, that can have a really big impact on, you know, who your table mate was, or who
Right.
you sat at a table with and got to know for so many years, and now you're kind of spread
Right,
out. Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Yeah.
One of the things that we do every summer is we have a barbecue, and I know that's been impacted also. But we've come up with a different plan, you and James.
Yeah, so it's exciting. We know that the barbecue menu in particular is one of the favorites.
Yes.
And it's been a long-standing tradition here for the
Yes.
team to have barbecues on the floors. So this year, because we can't bring residents outside, we thought it would be really nice to take the barbecue upstairs, and maybe we can decorate the dining rooms a little bit. But more importantly is we can get that barbecue menu going, which
Right.
they love. So on Thursday at lunch, the entire nursing home is going to have a barbecue menu. It's going to be barbecue brisket, hot dogs, Texas coleslaw, watermelon, and iced tea.
Oh,
so
that's wonderful.
residents are going to love it.
Yeah.
They've been asking, so I'm excited that they're finally going to enjoy it.
Yeah, and we'll still have opportunities to go outside on all the nature walks as much as possible. I think that is like an overall goal for all of us, is just to make sure that we are bringing residents outside for a change of scenery, for some fresh air.
Right.
Unfortunately, you know, bringing one whole floor down like we
Right.
used to do before isn't possible, but making sure that everyone is getting access to that amazing barbecue that
Yeah.
we have, that food every year. So stay tuned for that on Thursday, everybody. That's you heard it here first. So that's really exciting.
Yes.
I'm super happy that we were able to find a way to make sure that that still happens.
I am too.
We talked about your role here. We talked about the impact on COVID and how we are kind of finding ways to adjust. What's a home life for you? Who do you have at home with you?
So I live with my husband and my two daughters. My daughter Alana is 14 and Sarah's 19.
Yay. Will they be watching?
I hope not. I hope not. So my youngest daughter, I think, was born for quarantine because she's so content just not really having to go out and do too much and be a couch potato. The older one, a little bit more antsy and excited when she can get out and
Yeah.
exercise and do her thing. So it's been good. I mean, they have each other during the day, which
Right.
is good to support each other, and looking forward to school restarting so that they can get into some routine, because I think
Right.
that's really important, is getting back into a routine, and
That's true. All of our routines have been
thrown out the
Yeah.
window for sure. So
And
they
it's
need
finding
that.
the new
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
think they need
absolutely.
that.
And what are they doing, or what are you guys all doing in this warmer weather? Are you taking advantage of the outside or anything?
So we live in Westchester County, and we are sort of new dog owners. So we really love taking our little dog we have a little dog, Leo,
Yay.
mini poodle. So a lot of our downtime on the weekends are taking him to trails, outdoor trails, doggy parks, places where he can come along with us.
Right.
So we do a lot of that sort of remote,
Yeah.
sort of away from everybody.
Right.
To
Right.
places where we can let him loose and run around and stuff like
Aw.
that.
What
So,
kind of dog?
a mini red poodle.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I've never heard.
Yep, he's an amazing addition to our family. We love having him, and it was perfect timing because we got him right before all of this started in March. So
Oh,
he's
wow.
really been a great addition to the family, and he really did keep the girls very preoccupied at the beginning of this when life changed so dramatically. But they still sort of had him to take care of and him to sort of play with. So it really was perfect timing for us.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so it was really great.
What a great opportunity for something for coping. I feel like our pets are so important at this time to
Yeah.
just be with and cuddle and
Reduce some anxiety.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
for sure.
definitely. And I know our residents miss seeing our pets that we always used to have here, and we still have the birds and stuff, and Marley's here. But it has been different
Yeah.
for the residents too. But yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I grab my cats as much as I can.
Yeah.
I'm just like with them all the time. It's been really nice. But before you go, is there anything that you'd like to say to our residents who are watching, who have kind of been with us along with this journey of all these changes to the routine? Anything that you'd like to say to them?
Just that, we know how challenging it is for you. It's challenging for us, but in particular, I know it's challenging for the residents not being able to see their loved ones the way we are. But just know that we're all here for you, and even though you may not see, your family, you see your family from the Hebrew home every day, and we're here for you in whatever capacity you need us to be here for.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us on our first day of HD and sharing some great barbecue news.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. All right, everybody, we will move on to our positive news story. That was so exciting to have Jen join us and talk about some of the inner workings of clinical nutrition. So I'm super excited that it won't be the last. Maybe we can get some healthy eating tips. So our positive news story for today, a new study using satellite mapping technology reveals there are nearly 20% more emperor penguin colonies in Antarctica than was previously thought. So a few weeks ago, I brought a story about turtles from the Galapagos, big tortoises, I think they're actually, that were rescued, and a conservation act that was used to help preserve that type of species. And I've been really into animal conservation lately, so I wanted to share this story as well. Researchers reported this week how they used images from the European Commission's satellite mission to locate the birds. They found 11 new breeding colonies, 3 of which were previously identified but never confirmed. That takes the global census to 61 colonies around the continent. Emperor penguins need sea ice to breed and are located in areas that are very difficult to study because they are often remote and inaccessible, with temperatures as low as -Celsius, which is -58 degrees Fahrenheit. For the last 10 years, the British Antarctic Survey scientists have been looking for new colonies. They say this is an exciting discovery, says lead author Dr. Peter Fretwell, a geographer at BAS. The new satellite images of Antarctica's coastline have enabled us to find these new colonies. The colonies are small, but the numbers increase the overall population count by up to 10% to just over 500,000 penguins, or around 278,500 breeding pairs. Emperor penguins are known to be vulnerable to loss of sea ice, their favorite breeding habitat. So the data provides an important benchmark for monitoring the impact of climate change on the population of this iconic bird. With current projections of environmental changes, this habitat is likely to decline, and penguin populations could be lost under a business-as-usual scenario with unmitigated greenhouse gas emissions, creating warmer temperatures. So basically, because of global warming and the number of sea ice places that are melting, these penguins have lost breeding areas, which has caused their numbers to decrease. This study also found a number of colonies located up to 100 kilometers offshore, situated on sea ice that is formed around icebergs that grounded in shallow water, which is a surprising new finding in the behavior of this beloved species. So they found a way to adapt. And during the coldest year, July to August, the breeding emperor penguins return to discrete locations and huddle for protection from the wind and cold, especially during incubation of their eggs. So if anyone ever saw the iconic documentary, which I can't watch, but The March of the Penguins, which was beautifully narrated by Morgan Freeman, because I will just cry about penguins, the research published in the Journal of all of this was published in the Journal of Remote Sensing and Ecology and Conservation. and it was part of the Wildlife from Space project. So very cool and exciting to hear that animals are finding new ways, as we are all finding new ways at this time to adapt, whether what's going on, whether it's COVID or global warming, animals and us, we're all finding our new routines. So what are your thoughts? Give us a call. What do you think about our new HD? How's the sound? Let us know. And if you've heard any good news that you want to share with us on the show, please pick up your phones, dial 2813, and we will share your message. We'll pop it in the mailbox, and we will share your message here live on the show. That's our show for today, everybody. Remember to tune in to Channel 8 later today. We have What's the Story with Kate. She's telling a wonderful story about Julie Andrews, super interesting, her life. So that's today at 11:15. We have Exercise with Deborah at 1:30 and Your Hit Parade with Larry at 3:30. And don't forget, you can catch this episode of Good Morning Hebrew Home on our stream channel, Channel 88, at 6:30, or you can always watch all of the episodes on YouTube. Join us again tomorrow with host David Pomeranz. Once again, this has been Olivia Cohen with Good Morning Hebrew Home. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel. Cohen out.
Where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew